So when it comes to building everything for the aquarium gallery, we've come to the lighting portion of it. In today's video, I want to show you what I built and why I think you probably would too. So about 5 or 6 years ago, I built pendant style lighting just like this. And when it came to this rendition of the aquarium gallery, I was racking my brain of, what do I want to build? What do I want to get out of it? And how am I going to do it? Obviously, first and foremost, I wanted something to be more symmetrical and consistent across the entire aquarium gallery, because previously we had all different types of lighting and brands out here, and it just didn't look that great. The tanks looked great, but there was a number of things that I didn't like about it. One of the things I want to do this time is just make sure everything looks consistent across the entire gallery, and we're getting close to that. So obviously it would only make sense to build all the same lights for all of the aquariums. But of course, when calculating how many lights I'm going to need out here to light all of the tanks, it's about 26 individual lights. So obviously the costs and the ease of the build has to be included as well. I want to keep these costs relatively low, and because I got to build 26 of them, I don't want it to be too complicated. Obviously, I also want it to look really good. And one of the things that I'm liking about this design, which I'm going to show you how I did step by step here in a second, is notice that there's no glare. It's not lighting up the room, it's just lighting the aquarium. And that's what I like most about these lights, is that there is no overspill of light. No glare on the glass. I could take better videos of pictures. Like, look, I can see him perfectly clear. Now, you guys were complaining that he doesn't look good in that tank right now. The lights, I'm going to, where are you going? The lights need to be changed. It's the color spectrum of that light is just making him look pretty bad. I'm going to do something different there. I'll just build something into that rock. It's gonna look really good. So like I said, about 5-6 years ago, I built these pendant style lighting, so I thought, why not do it again? They're perfect, and it doesn't matter if I built them before. I just really like them. Obviously, I need to clean up all of the wires and whatnot, but I just did that last night. Look at all the plants going around. Watch this. It goes around the entire building, so above every aquarium, and I'm talking every aquarium, it's going to have, oh, can't see it, it's going to look awesome, let's put it that way. Another big component into me deciding how I was going to do lighting out here moving forward was, I wanted to be cheap to run. I have to lower costs out here, I'm telling you. At one point, previous to any changes, we had about 3,000 watts of lighting out here, 8 hours a day, which is about $126 a month. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but that's just lighting. Then we have pumps, then we have the heat pump, then we have so many other things that are adding up into the overall cost, and it costs more to run this building than it does my house with 4 people living in it. So after some simple calculations, I realized I could do this type of lighting and go from 3,000 watts to 300 watts, going from $126 a month to about $13 a month. This is awesome. Mind you, that's gonna be the theme, or one of the themes out here moving forward, is I'm going to be building a lot of stuff that's not only functional, looks good, does exactly what I need it to be, but it's also going to be economically friendly to build it as well as to run it. Here's how I did it. I bought myself a bunch of little plastic flower pots. This is a white one, although in the video here you're going to see that I have a black one. I also used and I got these for like $2 a piece. Then I got a pendant light fixture for $3. It was only 6 feet long. If I went 12 feet, which probably would have been a little bit more ideal for cable management, it would have cost a little bit more, but they were only $3 for the 6 foot long version. And then the LED bulb itself at a 5,000 Kelvin temperature rating cost another $5. So we're looking at this build costing a total of $10. Obviously, all we got to do is drill a hole in it, put the electrical fitting through, twist in the light bulb, and we're literally done. This build shouldn't take longer than 5 minutes. Obviously, using a step drill will stop you from cracking the plastic, and depending on how cheap you get, they're gonna crack, so you might wanna have a couple of extra, or at least go very, very slow. Now, the reason why I have white ones is previously we built these, and on the inside we put some like reflective tape, and I thought, what would be like an even cheaper way to do this? Because light is kind of absorbed into black, but I don't need a ton of lighting over the 2000, and I don't need a ton of lighting over the 700, so I just went with black and saved myself some paint, and we're gonna get to that in a while, because I can't grow plants in there. The Walrus will eat any type of plant that goes in the 2000, and there's no real purpose of having plants in with the stingrays, because that's now just for them. But if I took some spray paint and spray painted the outside of it, I could probably do about 10 to 15 individual flower pots with this. I can keep the inside white, and this will act like the reflector. Then of course just took a little screw in, you know, little hook and hung them off of there. Now these wires, like I said, I just did these ones last night, so I've got to hide the wires. I'm going to run the wires back behind the plants, so you won't see any type of wiring whatsoever. And one of the things that I like about it is I don't like the color spectrum this is putting on the tank. This is just a temporary holding tank. If I don't like the color spectrum up there, I just twist the bulb out. For $5, I can change the color. Not that big of a deal. I might even take it as far as to paint the cords like I did this one so they blend into the black ceiling, but when we come over to this one, it's white, so I just left the cords on that white as well. Now, if you want to get fancy and, you know, spend a few extra bucks, like another 10 bucks, make sure you get dimmable bulbs. The price doesn't really change there. But then I installed a dimmer switch. So I can have it as bright or as dim as I want, but again, that's an additional cost. And there's no wiring or anything like that. I just drilled it through the wall to have the switch there and glued it to the wall. It's literally right here, and on the other end, I plug it into the wall, and then the lights go into it. There's no wiring, it's super simple, and it allows me to have a dimmer. I just think it looks good. I think it's awesome. I think this is fantastic for people that already have like these types of lights in your house, and you know, you want your significant other, or you want your house to look, you know, have a little bit more feng shui to it and kind of everything blend in. This could be an option. Now, if I need these lights lower or higher, all I gotta do is raise them or lower them. It's not that big of a deal. Now, will these lights grow plants? Maybe some Anubias and, you know, very low light plants. But if I really wanna grow plants or have a heavily planted tank or anything like that, because the 120s are like so high up in the air, like this is close to 7 feet up in the air. If I really wanted to keep the look and the functionality of this, all I have to do is take maybe a fluorescent strip light and put it right on top of the tank. I won't be able to see it because it's up so high. And when it comes to tanks on the bottom, obviously I'm not going to be able to fit this under it. Maybe it's just not going to look that good, so I'm probably just going to hang some fluorescent lighting underneath or some LED strip lights of some sort. Now, I mentioned doing that to these tanks simply because, and again, I've got to clean up all these wires. I mean, I'm just installing things and doing 100 things at once, but the 180s, once I build the rack, is going to have, you know, the same dimensions as the 120 rack, so the tanks will be up 7 feet. They're actually going to go up to the height of the plants there, so it's gonna, the entire building is now wrapped in this. It's so cool. Oh, I should move my hand so you guys can actually see it. It goes around the whole place. I just love it. I think it looks cool. It looks a little awkward right now because everything's kind of like destroyed and on the floor and whatnot. But once the tanks are in here, once everything's set up, once we have everything good, it's gonna look absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so what if we don't like the idea of adding a strip light or LED light? You know, if the lights do everything I need them to do, but what if they don't? What if I do wanna have one of the tanks to be high lighting or something like that? Well, I still have all my original lights. These are those AI primes, and wouldn't you know it, they fit in here perfectly. So all I would do, to be honest with you, is run one of its wires up through here, and it can hang and put its cords up through it, and it'll look like the rest of them and blend in. Obviously, I gotta spray paint it and whatnot, but there you have it. So that's what I'm doing for lighting out here. I love it. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. I think I got 10 or 15 more of these to build. I also have to address the lighting on the Arowana tank because it's just horrible. It doesn't look good there. That lighting was never meant to light an aquarium. It was meant to light a background and make that look good. It was never meant to make an ultimate blood red Arowana look good. He looks more like gold or yellow or something in there. But that's it, and I'm absolutely loving these lights. The next thing I want to talk about is I got all the 2x6s cut up, and I'm ready to build the racking system. The racking system won't take long, maybe a day to build it, paint it. I gotta paint the floors, make everything match, repair the walls and whatnot from the past stand or the past rack that was there, and then move the 180s in, build their lights, build the filtration. And if you guys don't wanna miss any of that, you're not subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you do, or you're clearly gonna miss. I'll see you guys in the next video.